There we go. We're doing roll call. So sorry, y'all. Oh, that's my. I think that's me.
No, just share this. Present the slideshow. And then like make that
That's Kevin. That's Kevin doing. It's a small
What?
bar thing. You can tell who the cool people are here.
Yeah. Wait.
No.
There. Good. All right. It says permission.
Kevin, I have no permission to access this. That guy.
Yeah.
Please got permission.
Let's do manual. Let's do manual.
Okay. Well,
We're gonna do a manual roll call.
We don't need it because they're law students. Maybe it's like they're ending is it.
Reese Spearman also can't access it. All right.
Hey, everyone, we're gonna go actually do a roll call vote.
I mean, there's more.
Yeah, okay, are we all ready for a roll call vote? Old fashioned, okay. Representative Bailey. Representative Balakrishnan. Representative Manjara.
here.
On Zoom.
Okay. Representative Cannon. Here. Representative Sindrick.
No.
Okay, Representative Clausen.
Nope.
Okay. Representative Kojasko. Here. Representative Kudamanos. Here. Representative Daxa. Representative Daniel.
Here.
Representative Micey. Representative Fernandez. Allison Fernandez. And then Representative Kierman.
Here.
Yeah, on Zoom. For whatever reason, I can't hear them though.
I'll take up. Representative Pikachu. Representative Gonzalez.
Sorry, I think I didn't hear you when you said Feinstein.
Representative Hall.
Here.
Representative Hollaback. Here. Representative Hancock. Representative Hayes.
This is why.
Representative Hernandez. Representative Hoshi. Representative Daley. Representative Duhar. Sorry. Can you correct that, Deal? I got that next time. Representative McGill.
Here.
It's loud.
No, I got her. Representative Moore. There. Representative Neptune. Representative Wynn. Representative Pena. Representative Roberts. Here. Representative Rogers. Here. Representative Ryan. Here. Representative Sanchez. Here. Representative Salami.
Here.
Here.
Representative Churchman.
Yes.
Representative Villanueva. Here. Representative Weiss. Representative Whittington.
Present.
And our nursing rep, Representative Makeda Maceda. And how do you pronounce that? Perfect. Is there anyone that I didn't call? Zoom or in person?
Okay. Yay, we have quorum. All right.
Excuse me, I want to make sure you got Feinstein.
Yeah, we got you. Okay. The chair recommends a motion to approve the minutes for March 29th, April 12th, April 19th, April 26th, and May 10th. Is there a second? Is there any objections? They're approved. Okay. So we're gonna just quickly go over discussion guidelines. Remember to be respectful, productive, inclusive. I mean, we've already done this before, but just a brief reminder. Next slide. Open forum. Rules on open forum have not changed, I don't think. So, yeah. Next slide. And so now it's my honor to welcome our state senator who has taken time out of her day to speak with us, Senator Eckhart.
Do y'all have like pressing business that you want to get to before I talk?
No, you're good.
You're good.
All right, 'cause I am so excited to be here because I want to draw some information from you all. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. I hope I'm going to do a whole lot of listening. How about that? So first off, I know I can't be partisan in this circumstance. Can y'all hear me? Should I use the mic?
It's fine.
Oh, it's for the Zoom, of course. Hey, Zoom world. So I know I can't be partisan, but government is about preferences, right? So I will take a little straw poll, a nonpartisan straw poll. How many of y'all ran for student government because of something structural that you wanted to change at UT? Okay, that's most of y'all. How many of y'all ran because you wanted to change social injustice that was occurring at UT? How many of y'all ran because of a combination? Okay, I'm just getting a feel from my audience here. So how many of y'all are interested in representative government, serving in representative government in the future beyond college? So I would say that most of y'all either are engaged because of your college life, or you are embarrassed about declaring that you may want to serve in representative capacity beyond your college life. And I would suggest to you that you should examine that embarrassment. I had that too. I have 2 advanced degrees from the University of Texas. I got a law degree and a master's of public affairs from the LBJ school. And the whole time I pretended like I didn't want to eventually run for elective office. So I would ask you to examine that reticence to admit to yourself and to others that you might want to pursue a representative position in the future beyond college. I would submit there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it looks egotistical, and you don't want to declare that because it just looks like such vanity and ooh, gross, I don't want to be that person, right? But there's also another more insidious reason that I want to flop out there, and I want y'all to think about it. The more insidious reason is that there is a prevailing message in the political zeitgeist, frankly, on both sides of the aisle. The government, including student government, is at least incompetent, if not corrupt, and so why even bother? Have you all felt that?
Yes.
Have you felt your own friends disdain that you're in student government?
Yes.
Right? Right? So I'm so glad to be here with y'all today because you, at a relatively young age, are bucking that messaging. And we need you to buck that message. I want your help in bucking that message, and I want to provide my help to you in bucking that message. And it starts with y'all examining on an individual level, why would you not want to declare that you might want to continue representing your peers past college? So, little homework assignment. I also have that homework assignment for myself. Every single day I wake up and say, what? So I have 3 things on my agenda, and I'm going to tell you what they are. And if this is not what y'all want to talk about, that's fine too. So I'm going to throw out what I'd like to talk about, and then, you know, let's see hands pop and y'all tell me what you want to talk about. The first one I kind of did talk about, partisanship, governance, and this pervasive message that government sucks, and why should we even bother? The second thing I wanted to talk about, which rolls into that, is what you all can tell me about student participation and access for the upcoming election cycle. So I'm very concerned about that, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, or an independent. We have one of the most difficult voting systems in the United States, if not the most difficult. Difficult to access, and now it has been further complicated, and also perhaps made an unfriendly place. So elections, the next thing I wanted to talk about was academic censorship. Unfortunately, the state of Texas, under both parties, frankly, has had a long and really dishonorable history of academic censorship, and we're seeing an upspike in that in Texas. And I wanted to hear if y'all are, from you all, what your perception is being inside, inside the 40 acres under the tower, which sounds so much like the Eye of Sauron, doesn't it? So those are the two things I thought would be good for the agenda tonight: elections and academic censorship. But do you all have other issues that you would like to speak with your state senator about? I represent the city of Austin, Travis County, and most of Bastrop, or all of Bastrop currently. And I work with my colleagues in a body of 31, looking for solutions for statewide issues. So any other things for the agenda? Come on, your student government. I know you've got burning questions. Yeah.
I don't know if you've already.
Representative Baldwin. I don't know if you've heard already from like Kevin or maybe, but there is a prevailing kind of state issue about University of Texas maybe perhaps censoring student government. I would like to bring that up with you, and I think it's going to be a bigger issue. It's already starting to be an issue here on campus. Yeah, any of your thoughts on that?
Well, good. That's right in the wheelhouse of that academic censorship piece. So we've got that on the agenda. Any other agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
No? Okay, Representative Sanchez, I wanted to know more about the housing bond that's gonna be on the ballot potentially, the 350 million housing bond. Some of the efforts behind that, or if you looked into that.
Absolutely. We can touch on that too. I had that as a possible agenda item. I thought someone might bring it up. Anything else? Public safety on campus. I thought that might come up. All right. Anything else? All right, well then let's rock and roll. Let's go straight to election access and participation. How are we doing on campus in terms of access? Of course, we got shut down on having 24-hour voting locations. We got shut down on drive-through. And now we have enhanced, what's the word for it? I'm trying to be delicate so that the tower doesn't get mad at me. Enhanced entitlements for poll watchers. Any of y'all work in the polls this November? Oh, we got a couple. I would ask y'all to help us recruit people to work in the polls. It's really important that we have eyes on the polls and making sure that we get as many people to the polls as possible with any kind of reports of intimidation or disenfranchisement going out in real time, because we expect to see a fair amount of intimidation and disenfranchisement. If you can work campus, that's awesome. We're likely to have better access on campus if you can work in any of our outlying areas. If you've got, if like your home county is Gillespie County or Kendall County or Bastrop County or someplace like that, you might consider going home for election day weekend and working the polls, because it's going to be wild. As Donald Trump said right before the 2020 election. It's gonna be wild. So do y'all have any suggestions for me with regard to voter access, voter participation among the student population? Yes, sir.
Representative Holman, UI. First Senator, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to meet with us. And I know this is something that's filed with every legislative session, but it's just getting a student ID.
Yes.
What can we do with that? What can us as students, how can we lobby on our behalf to potentially see that, pass to the legislature?
It will be filed again, and it would be great to have everybody that we can possibly muster from universities and colleges across the state coming to lobby the legislature in person Lobby, you don't have to lobby me, and frankly, I know we're not supposed to be partisan, but you don't really have to lobby a single Democratic member of the Texas legislature on that issue. Every single Democratic legislator is in favor of that. It's the Republican legislators that you've got to lobby on it. So go lobby them.
A follow-up, sorry, how would you recommend we go about that?
Best way to go about that is get involved with an organization like Texas Rising or Jolt or one of the other student organizations that has a statewide heft, and join their efforts to go lobby the legislature for student IDs as identification at the polls. It's ridiculous that we even have identification at the polls, but if we're gonna have it, we ought to include student IDs. I'll tell you, there is no voter fraud. There's voter mistake, but there is so little voter fraud as to be completely insignificant. There's plenty of voter mistake. I used to be the county judge in Travis County, and at the end of every election, the election administrator, which is the county clerk in Travis County, would bring the poll results to us immediately after an election. And then we would canvass the votes, and then we would true it up based on the numbers of people who accidentally turned in both a mail-in ballot and went day up, because they turned in their mail-in ballot back in September and then forgot that they had voted, or weren't sure if their mail-in ballot got there. That is not voter fraud. That is voter mistake, and we have a way to handle that. Every single elections administrator across the state of Texas does a true up after elections to look for people who accidentally voted twice. It's not hard, it's not rocket science, and it never, I shouldn't say never, it has the it's exceedingly improbable that it affects elections. Where we have elections fraud is in the attempts to influence people with fake news in advance of an election cycle. That's where we have elections fraud. It is in social media misinformation. It's not in individuals who accidentally vote twice or go to the polls because they're super jazzed with their candidate and don't realize that their probated sentence bars them, or don't realize that they're not quite on paper for the sentence that they've already served, or they don't realize that they're registered to vote back in their home county, which they haven't lived in the last year and a half. That is not voter fraud. That is voter mistake. So helping out with that would be huge, and definitely student IDs would be a huge help. Absolutely, as well as being able to register in the year of your 18th birthday. So that's my diatribe on elections. Let's skip to academic censorship. I want to hear from you what's going on with this attempt to censor student government.
So we recently got a new set of governing documents from the university, which there were issues with how that was handled and us not really being informed about it well in advance. But I will say the most concerning change is the very first change, which changes the wording to say that we have separate but not equal branches of student government at the university, which the US Constitution would kind of disagree on how government's set up in that way. But other than that, basically the university for the assembly in specific, I don't know if the assembly knows this, but they have more control now over what kind of legislation we can put out there. And there are concerns that I guess their vetting process for what legislation we pass goes or not is very, very up to the university. So they basically have total control about what we pass.
Why do you think they want that?
Good question. I will say, partisan politics, I believe, is a big part of this. And it's just like the underlying reason behind all of this, so.
I will tell you, I'm seeing a troubling trend that was, how many of y'all know anything about the fights between the Texas Capitol and University of Texas back in the 40s and the 50s? Anybody? Well, anybody who wants to do a little research on this, during the 40s and the 50s in the state of Texas, right after World War II, a level of academic censorship, a methodology for academic censorship was being piloted in the state of Texas by a guy named Martin Dias, who then went on to mentor Eugene McCarthy. So that level of blacklisting was piloted and begun in Texas at the University of Texas in Austin. And we are seeing troubling trends that are similar, particularly with the arguments over critical race theory, particularly with the funding of the Liberty Institute. This is an indication to me, Republican or Democrat, Libertarian or Independent, that there is a troubling trend, and now also this issue with student government, to censor academic freedoms at the University of Texas. That should be an issue of concern for student government. Because the quality of your education is directly related to the level of academic freedom in this institution. How will this institution attract the best and brightest students like yourselves if it gets a reputation for academic censorship? How will it attract the best professors to teach the best and brightest if it has a reputation for academic censorship? So this should be of keen interest to you all. Is there anything else I should know about that so that I can do work as your representative in the chamber? We are going to move from critical race theory in K through 12, which doesn't even exist, and censorship of books in K through 12, to critical race theory at the collegiate level and censorship of lines of inquiry at the collegiate level. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Representative Bailey. I'm in quite a few classes that explore race, and so critical race theory is a huge part of that. And there's been very real concerns voiced by one of my professors. He is not tenured, and he is, I mean, that's concerning. The whole class is about race, and critical race theory is a huge part of that. And not having tenure makes him worried about if he continues to teach the class the way he's intended to be taught, to better ourselves and to better our education, what that might look like for him in terms of his career stability. And on top of that, there are professors who are worried about losing tenure from teaching critical race theory.
They are completely legitimate in their fears, unfortunately. So I would ask this body to take a look at tenure and how it is distributed, and to carefully monitor it along with your professors for politicized action on tenure decisions. That is a legitimate concern that they have. Unfortunate but true. Now, the good news is University of Texas being the Austin University of Texas being located right here, you're going to see a lot of adjunct professors who will flood the system saying, fine, you don't want to offer tenure, well, suck it, I'm here to teach. And I hope to be part of that for you. I can't be paid for teaching. I've been an adjunct professor at the LBJ school as a state employee. I cannot accept money or any other remuneration. So I can come in and teach it because I don't have any monetary skin in the game. And you'll see lots and lots of others like me who will flood that space. But we do need to get organized because it's coming. I'm not. It's a legislative session. So, and I haven't taught as an adjunct for a few years now. When I became county judge, it became too heavy a load. So I was teaching as a commissioner, stopped as a county judge, and then I ran for the Texas Senate. But, you know, if you want me to come in and teach a class at the LBJ school, I'd be all over that. We'll have to talk to the dean about it. Oh, you're at the LBJ school? Awesome. Awesome. Yes, sir.
Pretty study wide. Once again, thank you so much for being here tonight. I know Jasmine Crockett led some sort of initiative this past year. I was wondering if your office was considering doing something similar, but maybe, pursuing legislation that adds more students to the Board of Regents, specifically voting members. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I will tell you, we will bring that piece of legislation and they will kill it. But we're going to keep bringing it, just because it is falling flat. I'll tell you, my philosophy of government, I am further left than the state of Texas, and I recognize that. So my personal views, are further left. But my governing philosophy is that state government must govern from the middle. It is currently not governing from the middle. The middle has been dragged to the right, and it's no longer the middle. It is no longer representative of the majority view of most Texans. And so we are going to keep bringing legislation that pulls us back to a governing democracy. We will have challenges and we will have setbacks, Republicans and Democrats. There are good government Republicans too who are fighting really hard in the trenches. But we have to keep going. Democracy is truly at stake. That's not hyperbolic. It actually is. So yes, sir.
Question, so how likely do you think it is that we would see like academic censorship bills in this legislative session that targets all universities? And more specifically, do you think there'd be any bills filed that would reallocate some of the puff money UT receives, or I know that's something we get.
Absolutely, we already saw an attempt to reallocate the puff money in the last legislative session. That was already an issue that arose in the last legislative session. So we will see it again. There is a great degree of jealousy of the University of Texas for the puff. So you're going to see it gone after again, yes. And in terms of active censorship bills, we used to think that those would never fly, but they obviously have. What's the appropriate metaphor? The horse is already out of the barn. We're already seeing active censorship. There was a bill that passed last legislative session that I thought would never succeed in court, which was to censor social media platforms of 50 million users or more. There was a question on the floor of the Senate, why not 30 million users, since there's only 30 million residents in the state of Texas? Isn't this a violation of the Commerce Clause of the US Constitution? The author of the bill said, well, yes, on its face, but we're pretty sure that the FCC will allow it. To 30,000. And the author of the bill said, no, we think it's really important to keep it at 50 million. The questioner, my colleague Roland Gutierrez, said, do you not want to reduce the social media platforms below 50,000 because below that you get to the right-wing social media platforms that have never been able to break through more than 20 million users? And the author said, no, that's not the reason why I'm at 50 million. So that bill succeeded. It was challenged. And at least currently, the federal courts have found that it's okay, that it's not unconstitutional. It will undoubtedly be appealed, though. And I'm hoping that the US Supreme Court, which is showing me, less love daily, will find that no, a state cannot regulate a national social media platform. That is unconstitutional under the Commerce Clause, and that it is not a public forum. It is still a privately operated platform. So censorship is happening, y'all. It's happening. And colleges are just the institution to push back. The ideal institution to push back on that kind of censorship. On censorship of any kind, really. Anything else I should know about any threads of censorship that are going on in the University of Texas that I can work on with my colleagues? Also, I will say that many of my Republican conservative colleagues are allies on this issue because freedom of speech is extremely important to the right as well as the left. really what we're seeing is this anomalous, control freakishness among certain aspects of leadership. But really, the right and the left prize freedom of expression. So we do have allies on both sides of the aisle. Okay, so affordability, you wanted to talk about the housing bond, or you were going to the housing bond, sorry. As a former Travis County judge, working with the city of Austin, as well as our housing authorities and our affordable housing corporations, the housing bond is absolutely critical to putting more units on the market. The only way to push down, there are only a couple of ways to push down costs on housing in this market. One is to provide incentives and price supports to the builders themselves, like housing bonds. The other is to provide dirt, the actual real estate on which the housing goes. Government often provides the dirt in order to subsidize and draw down the cost of the units. So that housing bond is super important. I will tell you as a state elected official, I am painfully aware that the state, and this may come as a shock to you, the state puts, how much money does the state put into affordable housing in the state of Texas? None. None. They do provide the apparatus through which federal tax credits are distributed in the state. But the state of Texas puts not a dollar into actual affordable housing stock. So I will continue to work on that, finding a way to convince the state that this is a worthy statewide goal. But for now, it is our counties and our cities, along with the private sector that builds affordable housing stock, where we really do have to rely on them. So it's a wonderful thing that the housing bond is on there. I encourage all of y'all to vote for it.
We have time for a couple more questions, if there are a couple more.
Sorry, awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Senator Director, Representative Rogers. So actually, I serve on the appraisal review board for Travis County.
Oh, great.
So I happen to see a lot of these homeownership issues. But one thing that I was wondering was for like taking housing affordability at the state level, what I see is that people unlock generational wealth through land ownership and home ownership. And one thing I worry about with building all these rental units is that we create a permanent underclass of renters, whereas they never own their own land, they never own their own home. So I'm wondering, just like at a strategic point, how do we make it affordable while also unlocking that generational wealth too?
That is a really important microeconomic theory on generational investments in real estate. Super important. It has deep emotional roots for our community as well. That's a difficult one to unpack, and we could do an entire class on that alone. I think that if you look at it in the macroeconomic sense, there is no way that we can appropriately house the population increase in our urbanized areas in single family owner occupied properties. It's simply not mathematically or geospatially possible. So there's that. But that's not to say that we shouldn't have a mix of dirt and airspace utilization that allows people to move in and even out of home ownership and back in over the course of their lives. And other investment tools that have been created that make it possible for people to move in and out of it, depending on whether they have the disposable income to park in a real estate investment. So, this is a big question. It's also a very big question with regard to gentrification in our major urbanized areas. I would suggest a tool, the best tool I've found so far for that is to look at land banking, where a local nonprofit, perhaps partnered with a governmental entity, creates a land bank and goes into traditional communities, historic communities, and says, listen, we're not coming in and knocking down your houses and putting in a multifamily, 250 unit property. But what we are doing is coming in and saying, in your single family owned property, which has now appreciated in value to such a degree that you are fearing that you can no longer afford your property taxes. What we can do as a land bank is come in and offer to purchase the dirt out from under your home at market and give you that money, that wealth. You continue to own your home, the improvement, and you can sell your home. Your child can inherit the home, your spouse can take the home when you die, your immediate relatives can take the home, and you can sell your home at market, not the dirt, because we've done it now, but your home at market, as long as you sell it to somebody else who is at 80% MFI or below. And if you don't sell it to someone or don't want to sell it to someone, we get a right of first refusal and can purchase it. So that way you start to get liquidity for people who can no longer afford the escalating, the property tax on the escalating value of their home. You purchase their value and give them the liquidity, and they continue to be able to stay in their home until they choose to move it to the next generation, sell it, or sell it back to the land bank. It's worked very, very well in other parts of the country. We could utilize that a lot more.
All right.
I'll
Yeah.
be around too. Some people just like come and talk to me back.
Okay.
Oh, quickly, on public safety, if you have an accident at I-35 and MLK, there are at least 9 law enforcement agencies that can respond to. 5 different constables' offices, UT Police, APD, Sheriff's Department, as well as DPS. Probably AISD police can respond there too. So we have a multiplicity of law enforcement agencies, but we do need a much higher degree of coordination of those law enforcement agencies. So APD and UT Police could and have achieved a pretty good degree of collaboration. I would like to work with you all on a deeper and more trusting partnership between the Tower and the City of Austin, because I think that there is some distrust there.
Do we, sorry, we're running out of time, but do we want to take a quick photo? Anyone want to?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna do
Is
this.
it okay with you, Senator?
Sure, I would love that.
If you just want to take a photo, maybe just, we can take it in the back.
Or I can just hold up my phone on reverse.
Yeah.
Do
Okay, that works too, yeah.
Oh, that works.
Should we scoot in?
And then I'll send it to you. Send it to Kevin.
Yeah, actually, I'll never.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get a little closer. Okay, yeah, from this angle, I can get everybody. Yeah, don't be in it, let me see them over. This is super fun though, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. Either way.
You can do it both ways.
Waiting for
This guarantees I'll be in the foreground, which is great for egotistical politicians.
Yay.
Also, we do internships and fellowships in my office, so if anybody is interested in working in a senator's office, y'all come on by. I'm easy to find, sarah@saraheckhart.com. And I do coffee jolts on the third Thursday of every month in an independent coffee house someplace in Travis County. So if you check out my Facebook page, these are my ad hoc sort of think tanks. Anybody can come, you can raise any issue you want. They are most dramatic when you come and want to bitch me out about something I screwed up. Which is perfectly fine, that's what my job is. So y'all come on by, bring your good ideas. So happy to be here with y'all tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll now move on to open forum. Did anyone sign up for open forum? All right, let's move on. Wait, what? Do you want to speak? Do you want to speak?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and go, because it will take me like to pull it up and everything. Just go. 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes.
1 second.
Are you ready?
Okay, so I just have one quick little cute little thing. Okay, let's look around the room, right? How many of you are not in student government? Right. Oh, one.
Yeah, cool.
But in my opinion, that's the problem. I know this is a very boring meeting, but the fact that how many people knew we were meeting, probably very few. The fact that we didn't advertise that, no one knew we were meeting, and we are supposed to represent all 50,000 something people. We can't even fill up these like 20 seats over here. Yeah. So I mean, there's something we can do. We could do like more social media outreach or something, but I feel like we as like have to agree that we have to do something. Even if, especially like these first few, people haven't learned that they're boring yet. And they think, oh, maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe people should be here, especially as we're doing like the first year rep thing, who are considering joining this body. People should be aware of when we're meeting, what we're talking about, so that way they could see what's going on as we make these decisions in their hands. So yeah, that was it for me. Thank you.
The speaker will retain the remainder of the time. Is there any questions for the representative? Seeing none, thank you so much. Is there anyone else signed up for open forum? Anyone on Zoom also?
I'm not signed up, but I'm gonna fill it out real quick so that I can speak.
Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what, I'll fill it out after I speak, but hi y'all.
You can just go ahead and go if you want right now.
Okay, cool, thank you. Hi y'all, this is Maya, if you can't see me on Zoom. So just wanted to say on behalf of the Supreme Court, welcome back to another great year. I don't know about y'all, but I've already started my unhealthy caffeine habit again. So I just wanted to let y'all know that we opened applications for the Supreme Court. We're looking for justices and clerks. So if y'all know anyone, or if you are in organizations where you think people would be interested in doing that, it is not restricted to being pre-law. It is not restricted to a particular year. We just want to see that you can research, write, and think critically. So just wanted to put that out there. Please let us know, let your friends know. You can find us at tinyurl.com/apply-scout. And that's going to bring all of the information that you need. So I wanted to put that out there and also say hi. Excited to do another year with y'all.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any questions for the justice? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else signed up for open forum? Going once, going twice? No? All right, moving forward. All right, the quote of the week. The quote of the week is "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn" by Benjamin Franklin. Please use this in some way. Parliamentary procedures. Just remember that. I know Gerald did a workshop and we'll probably do one over, Gerald will be doing a teach-in about 3 to 4 weeks from now over this stuff, just so we all remember, but just keep that in your back of your mind. All right, and so now we're going to move forward with appointments of all legislative staff, as well as the nursing representative. And we'll begin with the nursing representative, just so you all know that this is a college appointment, and so there is no vote on it, but we'll still hear from her. So whenever you're ready, Ms. Maceda, is that correct? Okay. Yay. Right. And here, Justice Mackey, before we start, do you just want to swear them in all at one time, or would you prefer us go? How would you want us to go about this?
I am fine with whatever you want. If you want to swear them in all at one time, that's fine. Just need to make sure that they all say their respective positions all together when taking the oath, but we can do it either way.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just do it one time then. We'll do it at the end.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, just 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Wait. I don't know.
Yeah, say your name first.
So doesn't she have to be sworn in to vote on like the other four appointments?
Wait, who?
Nursing reps don't have to be sworn in to vote on the.
Yes.
the appointments that we can't-
Oh, you're right. Yes, thank you. Yes, okay. Justice Mackey, then yeah, we should, after the nursing representative is presented, maybe we should swear her in and then do the other.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you. I'm getting back to it.
Ready to start.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay, cool. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alexis Maceda, and I'm a second-year student. Program that many students and faculty rely on. This program provided easy and accurate testing that allowed folks to keep themselves and the community safe. Although the number of cases is trending downwards, the reality that we face is that this pandemic is now over. According to the CDC, this past June, 1 million deaths were reported from COVID in the United States. I hope to work with other students to restore these testing sites, an important resource in keeping our campus safe. And within the School of Nursing, I would like to improve the resources for internal transfers. It is difficult for many students trying to internally transfer to the School of Nursing to get the resources they need. Such students don't have access to advisors that can aid them in the transfer process that are familiar with specific requirements. Many students have looked to organizations like UTSA, which provide student panels with internal transfer experience to aid students. I hope to give these students direct help from the school through a formal student volunteer program. I'm humbled to be given the opportunity to represent a diverse group of nursing students and I'm excited for the work ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the representative appointee? Seeing none, the representative or appointee is approved. And so we'll Justice Mackey, if you want to swear in.
Absolutely. So just raise your right hand and I cannot see you, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna have the rest of the assembly hold you accountable that you are, and then repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Alexis Maceda,
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute.
solemnly swear that
Sorry, that was my phone. The office of nursing representative
the office of nursing representative
of the University of Texas at Austin Student Government
University of Texas, Student Government,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the student government. Congratulations.
All right, thank you so much and congratulations. Welcome to student government.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move forward with our legislative staff appointments. I'm so happy to have them here. I'm so thankful to have, Adrian, Diego assist me with the interview process and all of that, and we have a great slate of people. Unfortunately, Camille can't be here today because she has COVID, and so she's recovering from that, but hopefully we'll confirm her either next week or the week after, when she's better. But we'll go ahead and move forward with Melinda. So whenever you're ready, if you just want to go up, present, and
Yay, Melinda.
Is it 3 minutes?
Yeah, I can.
You know.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Turn it on.
Do you,
You turn it on. Turn the whole thing.
Hi, guys. My name is Melinda Wong, and I'm a first-year student at UTSG pursuing an economics major. I'm passionate about advocacy on social justice topics, including but not limited to racial disparities, discrimination against marginalized communities, and gender inequality. Especially within these past years, I believe that it is crucial for youth to speak up and become involved. I look forward to growing my interest to help positively change not only the UT environment, but also the world. And working with UT Student Government as a clerk of the assembly will undoubtedly help spark more concrete action and knowledge within my advocacy career. As clerk, it is essential to sustain organizing and managing skills, of which I have previously embodied within my past positions. For example, I was a co-president of the National Band Club at my high school, where I planned and hosted meetings, took meeting notes, and managed tasks for each officer. I kept track of the overall schedule and logistical needs for an overnight trip to a state competition. Accordingly, communicating with sponsors and fundraising partners through email. Similarly, as clerk, I will organize, communicate, and distribute legislation to appropriate parties. Importantly, I also like to initiate change and envision improvement. For example, I organized the entire Google Drive and redesigned the website left kind of in a muddy place by the previous team in order to make them more functional and accessible for the current team. Similarly, I plan on maintaining organized records for assembly progress as clerk. Moreover, I'm communicative and understanding with my team, even if there's a dispute. I actively listen to criticism or suggestions as I believe that feedback is important to any organization's development, especially student governments where student voices matter. With that being said, I also set high expectations for myself and other people, holding ourselves accountable for our own responsibilities and actions. Thus, as clerk, I will be able to apply and expand my passions, skills, and experiences in order to actively fulfill the expectations. I hope to carefully observe assembly needs and thus gain more insight on how exactly the assembly operates in order to actively indulge in various advocacy topics introduced and thus visualize how the UT community is affected by it or how it can be improved. I'll punctually attend all assembly meetings and write practical meeting minutes while organizing files and communicating with relative parties. I'm a fast learner, so I can pick up new tasks quickly. You can count on me to be a reliable clerk, and I promise to dedicate my time and efforts to this role. I'm really excited to evolve my advocacy career in this upcoming assembly year, and I look forward to working with y'all. Thank you.
Oh, it's on here. Sorry. Okay, so now move forward with questions, just per the new governing documents. Rules are 3 minutes and they cannot exceed. So are there any questions for the clerk appointee? Seeing none, speaker will claim the reign of time. Just want to make a motion?
Are we doing it individually then?
What?
Are we gonna appoint them all individually?
Yeah, we do this part individually, and
No,
then.
no, but I'm asking, that's kind of relevant.
Okay. Yeah, Representative Holman.
Yeah, Representative Holman, UI, and I move to confirm and appoint Melinda to the position of clerk, by unanimous
Stop.
consent.
What? Did you have a question? Benjamin, did you have a question? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, we're getting the whole things. I'm so sorry.
Representative Holman, UI, I move to confirm and appoint Melinda Wayne to the position of clerk by unanimous consent.
Second.
All right, are there any objections? Melinda, you are now confirmed.
Yeah.
So next up, we'll do Ben. Ben is our parliamentarian for the, what? Am I, okay, yeah, if I'm missing anything, please tell me, because I am like relearning all this again. Yeah. All right, whenever you're ready.
Is it working? Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Benjamin Avion, and I am a freshman government and plan to major from San Antonio. I stand here today because of an interest in government I acquired from my mom when she ran for a seat in the Texas House of Representatives. Seeing my mom run honestly put me on the track to be here today, and I've just been interested in politics on the local level ever since then. The pursuit of a deeper understanding of how our government operates has always been a driving force in my education. And I feel that becoming an active member within the UT Student Government Assembly will serve as the next big push towards that deeper understanding. I'm very happy to see y'all today. However, I know with my role as parliamentarian, you will probably not be as happy to hear from me in the future. But I believe that the Assembly should confirm me because of my prior experience when it comes to councils. I work within the San Antonio City Council, and I am quite familiar with how assemblies should operate. And I promise to abide by and administer the guiding principles of Robert's Rule of Order to the best of my ability. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be here, and I hope you all approve my nomination.
Thank you so much. So like, again, rule 3 minutes cannot exceed. So you can go and begin. Are there any questions for the appointee? No? Representative Weiss.
Representative Weiss, Communications. I'm curious to hear more about your time served for the San Antonio City Council. I think that's really cool because you're really young. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that experience was like?
Well, I was an intern, unpaid, did not get paid until I became a college student. So hopefully this year I can get paid. But it was very nice to experience the council. Not only did I go to council sessions, but I also got to interact with people individually because it was a district internship. So I got to meet people on the local level as well as experience city hall scene. And I think that that experience will probably be just as cool as what I'm about to experience here.
All right, any other questions? Representative Rogers.
Representative Rogers, CNS. Is there ever a situation that you think of where you would stray from Robert's rules?
I know that there is some contention on whether or not to always follow the 250 word rule for legislation. So I could see myself allowing 250, something over 250 words to pass, depending on why it was over. You know, maybe it was just too broad an idea or too expansive to be fit to fit into 250 words. So I can think of a few examples, but for the most part, I think I will stick to what Robert's rules has said.
Representative Pena.
Brett Pena-Nicola, just out of curiosity, why did you choose to apply for the parliamentarian role specifically, as opposed to clerk or for legislative director?
I really wanted to apply for parliamentarian because I wanted to have more of an active role in what was happening with the student government. And also, I really wanted to read the entirety of Robert's Rule of Orders. That was definitely one of the most pushing things that led me here. But I think that it was just, I think that being able to have like that active part in the student government is what pushed me to.
All right, speakers are going to reclaim the remainder of time, seeing as we have like 4 seconds left. So the chair will recommend a motion. Representative Gadichuk.
Rep Genichi UI, I move to confirm and appoint, Ben, what's your name? Ayan. To parliamentary position by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objections? Seeing none, you're approved. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do now, just so everyone's completely clear what's going on. Because the legislative director role does not exist yet, we need to consider it first. So we will consider it, then we will vote on the rule that will allow us to appoint today, do the appointment process, and then we will then do the swearing in. Okay. All right. So we'll move forward to new business. To authorize the assembly to establish legislative staff, fast track. Yeah, Gerald's gonna preside.
All right, everyone. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the authors and sponsors for AB2 authorizing the assembly to establish legislative staff may come present why they would like to fast track this piece of legislation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have a parliamentary inquiry, point of information.
I don't know which one it would be, but this is just about the fast track, correct?
Correct. This is just to let us proceed and have the vote today. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So we're just fast tracking this today because this existed prior. These were supposed to be our governing documents, they weren't. And so this changes nothing.
Okay, the speaker will claim the remainder of the time. Are there any questions about why we're fast tracking? So not on the bill itself, just the fast track. Okay, the speaker will claim the remainder of the time. Are there any motions? Representative Bailey.
Motion to fast track by unanimous consent.
Close enough. Are there any seconds?
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, the fast track is approved. Always gonna do that. Anyways, now the speaker may introduce AB2.
All right, hello everyone. I hope y'all had a great summer. Welcome back. Hello, I hope you all had a great summer. Welcome back. So just so you all know, our governing documents, they don't include what we had asked for. I'm very pissed about that, but whatever. So this bill creates the two staff positions that we discovered, that we talked about during our task force over the summer. And the assembly council position that has been here for 2 years, that is no longer here. So that's what this bill is.
Okay, the speaker.
I have to deal with that.
The speaker will claim the remainder of the time. We'll now enter a 5-minute Q&A period. Are there any questions? Just give me 1 second. Click the back button. No, clear. I haven't done some yet. Okay, Representative Pena.
Representative Cola, Representative Speaker Roberts, Devin, if you could just please outline what exactly the legislative director role, how it's gonna look, everything like that.
Yeah, so it's based off of what we agreed in the task force. So this person will be, Rizal will be, doing essentially kind of modeling what the deputy to the president does. So they are the assistant speaker, basically helping out carry out my duties.
Any other questions? Representative Balakrishnan.
Representative Balakrishnan, business. I know there was some discussion about the role of the communications director, the assembly director also be coordinated with our executive communications director. Have you clearly delineated that role? Like, have you defined that so there's no confusion?
Yeah, so so Marlene is hi. So we're supposed to talk with Carrie at some point where we're gonna actually go over these rules specifically and hash it out. We left it the same, we left it as vague as it was prior because we don't want to put these standards on one person and make it apply to everyone else afterwards, especially since this is a temporary position. But between Carrie, Marlena, myself, we'll hash it out.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Representative Whittington.
Representative Whittington, Cola, do you think that these two just gonna be like, nah, I'm good, just like get rid of this anyway?
I don't know. If they did, I would love to see the advisory brief that I'm given, but I don't think they will. So the new constitution grants us this authority based on the section that we put in there. So we're fine. I communicated this to them, they were well aware, so.
Representative Pena.
And Nicola, so just to confirm, Kevin, the new governing documents do outline that with the legislative director also being in an officer role, much like the parliamentarian clerk I think now are.
Yes, it's the point of office.
Okay, and when the new governing documents say the word officer, do you elaborate at all as to what exactly that means?
No, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Any other questions? Yes, Representative Wind.
They make new documents. I don't know. I'm just enforcing them.
Hello, okay, Representative, so these are temporary positions, right?
Right, so these roles will exist until the end of our term.
Are these temporary positions that we anticipate recreating in the next legislative assembly?
That will be up to the next speaker and this assembly to make it permanent.
Any other questions? All right, the speaker will claim the remainder of the time. Are there any motions? Yeah, Representative Tristan.
Representing Wyatt, I move to the previous question
By what vote type?
by unanimous consent.
Are there any seconds?
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none. Okay, now we'll have a motion to approve the legislation. Are there any motions? Representative Bailey.
Representative Bailey, I motion to approve AB2 by unanimous consent.
Are there any seconds?
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, AB2 is passed. Now it's a little.
I'm gonna swap.
So this first.
Next slide.
Oh, it's already on.
Huh?
No, go back.
Okay,
Sorry. You have 3 minutes to talk about why we're fast tracking.
1 minute.
1 minute, just kidding. 1 minute to explain why we're fast tracking. Essentially, we're trying to fast track so we can confirm this wonderful appointee nominee today. So yeah, let's just fast track this. And then we can discuss the bill if you have any questions afterwards.
Are there any questions for the representative? Seeing none, the chair recommend a motion. Representative Collazo.
Representative Collazo Cola, motion to fast track this bill by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, approved.
Okay, yeah, so now I'll speak about the actual bill itself. So the reason why we're doing this is just so we can confirm him today. I think you can make an argument that technically we might not need a special rule. It's a little gray area, and we prefer to play it safe. We want the assembly to have the power to decide that. This is a body, by everyone, so this is ultimately everyone's decision here, whether you guys don't have this confirmation today or next week. So by approving this bill today, we'll be able to vote on this confirmation today, and we'll be all set in stone. Otherwise, it's gonna have to wait till next week. So, any questions?
Are there any questions for the representative? Seeing none, the chair will claim the remainder of the time. The chair will recommend a motion. Representative Bailey.
Representative Bailey, I motion to approve AB4 by unanimous. Oh, I motion to move the previous question by unanimous consent.
Yeah, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, approved. Representative Bailey.
Okay, now I motion to approve AB4 by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objections? Seeing none, the special rules approved.
We're gonna roll today.
All right. No, no.
Okay, now we can.
Well, okay, so now we're gonna consider the appointment for the legislative director operations appointee result.
Hi, good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I'd like to say that I'm very grateful for the opportunity to stand here and speak in front of all of you. My name is Rasul Obizal, and I am the nominee for the Legislative Director of Operations here at the Assembly. I'm originally from Turkmenistan. I was born there, and I've spent a majority of my life living outside of the United States in countries such as the UAE, Libya, and Malaysia. Now that I'm here at UT, I'm very excited to call this place my new home. During my time as the Legislative Director of Operations, I would like to emphasize and develop the science of deliverance, a term coined by Sir Michael Barber, who served the UK Prime Minister Blair during the late 1990s to the early 2000s. The core idea of deliverance is to understand that the drafting of a policy, the implementation of a policy, and the follow-up to it are all equally important. While I understand that drafting a policy should be left to the more experienced individuals here at the Assembly, I'll be hopefully focusing on the implementation and the follow-up aspects of it. Implementation is the process of taking what's on paper and turning it into reality. A well-drafted bill is only as good as its execution, and throughout my time here, I'll be working on and learning strategies of implementation and hopefully developing on it. The follow-up is the process for us in terms of the implementation aspect. That would be lobbying efforts, improving our ways to outreach, and producing more persuasive arguments in order to actually get things done. And the follow-up process in terms of deliverance is the process of understanding the impact that policies have in our community. And I believe that's very important because developing data acquisition methods that accurately represent the efficacy of our policies after implementation will help us not only to fine-tune our future policies, but to make them more successful and effective in our communities. With these priorities, I will do my utmost to not only help and serve the UT community and this assembly, but to hopefully help this organization grow into a more successful and effective establishment. Thank you.
All right, is there any questions for the appointee? Representative Balakrishnan.
Representative Balakrishnan, business, thank you for your speech. My question is, how do you plan on, like, you know, operations wise, actually taking a bill, like communicating with the representative who authored the bill, like how do you plan on taking action on it? Like, do you have a chain of steps in mind, or?
I do. So I have a decent, I mean, I like to, I've worked on, I've been a team leader for multiple projects, one being a game development project and another being the establishment of a sports team at my school. But the process that I would like to look into, and the one that I have in mind, involves prioritization and involves target setting as well as some healthy competition. Of course, certain actions that are very difficult for us to perform, I would like to outreach, hopefully, or possibly outreach to other organizations or other students outside of student government who are more specialized in those fields, who could help us to take action where we are not exactly experienced enough to do.
Any other questions? Seeing none, the speaker will claim the remainder of the time, and the chair will recommend a motion. Representative Whittington, I'm so sorry. I'm remembering everyone's names too.
Wow, okay. I move to confirm and appoint Rizul.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was gonna say his name.
To the position of legislative director of operations by unanimous consent.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, congratulations. Okay, so now we're going to swear all of our legislative staff in. Justice Packer, are you here? Justice Packer.
Sorry. Okay. Could not find my unmute button. All right. If everyone could stand up and raise your right hand, and let me know once you've done that. All right. And now you're going to repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Yeah, state the position that you're being appointed to. All right, of the University of Texas at Austin Student Government.
University of Texas at Austin Student Government.
And will to the best of my ability. Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the student government.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the student government.
Congratulations.
Okay, so I didn't know that this was a tradition. I didn't know that speakers do this, but I'm supposed to give everyone memorabilia. So I am. I'm very excited. So to the parliamentarian, this is the copy of Robert's Rules. I will give that to you. I hope that you will go with that. For the Legislative Director of Operations, since this is the first time we're having this role, we thought to give you the Legislative Student Leaders Resource Manual. I will give you that.
Yeah!
And
1937.
what is this?
This is the yearbook of 1937.
Okay. All right. And for the clerk, we have a yearbook from 1937 of old people who were in SD. So I will give you this. All right. Oh, did you have a note, right?
No, that's after.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on with new business. So now we're going to move on to AR 10 in support of calling President Biden to cancel student loan debt fast track. I will ask the authors and sponsors to go here, and Gerald is going to preside again.
Is this on? Oh. Okay, can you put, wait, it's 1 minute. Yeah, it's fast track, yeah. Click through. Yeah, okay. Okay, the authors of AR 10 will have 1 minute to explain why they would like to fast track this resolution. What happened?
Okay, sorry. All right, welcome back everyone again. Hello. This bill, or this resolution, sorry, is to ask President Biden to cancel student loan debt part of the national organization effort that we're doing. We're fast tracking this because this has already been sent to the committee. The committee has approved it, so there's no point of sending it back to the committee.
The speaker will claim the remainder of the time. Are there any questions on the fast track? Hold on 1 second. Okay, Representative Wynn. Hold on 1 second. Hold up. Can you restart it? Representative Wynn.
Hi, Mr. Representative Wynn. I was wondering, what is the point of us considering this resolution when the goal that it seeks to achieve already been achieved?
Sorry, talking about this. We're only asking questions on the fast track itself, not on the resolution.
Like, why we fast tracking it in general? Like, why is this something that we're looking at today?
Yeah. So the committee has already reviewed this. It wouldn't make sense to send it back there.
Representative Whittington.
Why did the committee review it first for that to assembly?
Because it was over the summer.
Any other questions? Okay. Hearing no more questions, the speaker will claim the remainder of the time. Are there any motions? Representative Whittington.
Motion to grant the fast track by unanimous consent.
Are there any seconds? Any objections? Hearing none, the fast track is approved. Now the authors and sponsors will have 3 minutes to present the legislation. Wait.
All right, yes, sorry.
Go for it, yes.
Okay. I would first start by thanking everyone here who has helped me with this project. Student loan debt, of course, as you know, has impacted millions of Americans negatively as they try to live in a post-pandemic high inflation world. We have seen with the stroke of a pen that President Biden can cancel $10,000 of student loan debt, and we commend him for that, but we believe more can be done. Let's be absolutely clear, this is a crisis severely affecting women borrowers, Black borrowers, first-gen and LGBTQ borrowers. Millions of Americans are suffering under enormous amounts of student loan debt. This resolution simply calls on President Biden to cancel $50,000 in student loan debt, pairing with our national letters signed by over 35 individuals representing 20 colleges and 560,000 students. We as student leaders should be fighting for financial relief for student borrowers, not just here on campus, but across the nation. This policy is supported by other college campuses, labor unions, and the NAACP. Let's join the movement, and with that, I'll turn it over to the fellow.
Hello, everyone. So yes, like Kevin said, we incredibly appreciate everything that the president has done to already cancel a certain amount. But the simple fact is, the median cost of college is going up at such a high rate, and the median income for people is not keeping up to that. College is such an incredible hurdle for so many people, especially like the minority individuals that Kevin listed earlier. So this would be incredibly important. We're requesting this specific legislation is 50,000 instead of the 10 and 20,000 that's already been outlined. It would be incredible because it's going to help out a lot of college students, and not just college students, but a whole lot of people across the country. Help establish generational wealth.
Yeah, and just, hi everyone, good to see y'all. I was just adding on to everything Kevin and Brian already said. I heard someone else saying like, oh, well, we don't really control student loans and student government, which is true, but I think for the University of Texas Student Government, for an organization that represents 50,000 students, for us to make this kind of statement and pass this resolution sends a very strong message, because they say, oh my gosh, UTSG Student Government wants this, and all the students at UT are supporting this. And that sends a really strong message to President Joe Biden and this administration.
There's not much else that hasn't been said, and I don't know how much more time we have, but just in general, this is still so important, even though there's $10,000 that has already been forgiven. I don't know about y'all, but my tuition for 1 year is $10,000, and that doesn't include housing costs, that doesn't include all the other costs associated with college. So there can be more done, and there should be more done.
We have about 20 seconds left. Are there any questions? Huh? Well, is there any more questions? Yeah, Representative Weiss.
Representative Weiss, communication.
Actually, sorry, hold up. I'm just gonna reclaim the time. Yeah, it's already elapsed. The Q&A.
That was our Q&A. That was our speech.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were already on Q&A. Yeah, I'm tired. Anyway, okay, so now we'll open up the 5-minute Q&A period. I see Representative Weiss has a question.
Yeah, ooh, sorry. Yeah, so this is, I don't know if we're allowed to do this or if anybody's comfortable, but I have student loans, and I'm kind of interested to see like who around this room, if you're comfortable raising your hand, because I feel like this is an issue that affects a lot of people, but finances aren't really something a lot of people talk about.
Are there, yes, Representative Balakrishnan.
So I know we have a new position that will help like with implementation and everything, but what foreseeable impacts do you see this resolution having? Just elaborate a little bit on that, because the message is good and all, but like I want impact.
Yeah. So over the summer, I've been working with these other people as well as people from UCLA, UC Berkeley, Rutgers University, and Syracuse. And so we have been working on a national letter campaign over the summer, trying to get other student government leaders, presidents to sign on to this. And so this is working with the SDCC, the Student Debt Crisis Center. They have been working on a resolution initiative as well as in addition with the letter. And so while yes, we as one campus are not going to change anything, collectively with other campuses and other campuses, we can ask and advocate for greater,
Any other questions? Representative Collazo.
Representative Collazo Cola. I was looking at the people that you guys are going to send this to, and have you guys also considered sending it to the office of the Secretary of Education? Because I don't think they're on the soft clause.
Is it?
He's not on there.
Well, we can put that. Oh, what?
Yeah, no. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Any other questions? Representative Klassen.
Are there any clauses within this resolution about addressing the underlying issue of the crazy rates of inflation, past inflation of tuition, or is it just to ask for money? Because if the government is 2% is not all set, what are the incentives for colleges to reduce the rates of increases in
No, that's a good question. This resolution does not tackle the inflation issue that we are having at this present moment. This stays strictly in relation to student loan debt. As we know, there are over $1 trillion dollars spent in debt incurred by millions of Americans. And so this simply addresses that problem.
Representative Greenwald.
Does it call on changing the date in any way for people whose loans were taken out, say after June 30th and before today?
No, it only deals with canceling $50,000 of student debt. That's the only thing that this bill addresses.
Any other questions? Sorry. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, the speaker will reclaim the remainder of the time. Are there any motions? Representative Whittington. Yeah.
Motion to approve this question by unanimous consent.
Are there any seconds?
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, are there any motions to approve the legislation? Representative Whittington.
Motion. Representative Whittington, Cola, motion to approve AR 10 by unanimous consent.
Any seconds?
Second.
Objections?
Hand vote.
All right, we'll have a hand vote. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. And people on Zoom, please raise your virtual hand too. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh, you can put your hand down. Hold on, let me write 21. Okay, wait, let me get the people in the, hold up. Sorry, Zoom people. Can you raise your hands again? Oh, it was just 4, okay. So 25. And if you're against the bill, please raise your hand. And any abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the resolution passes 25 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 4 abstentions. Congratulations. Okay. 5 abstentions. Still passes. All right, let's move forward with next slide. All right, let's move forward with AB3, the 2022-2023 student government budget. $3 minutes?
Hi, everyone.
Hold on, one second. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay, before we pass this budget, I want to let everyone know how the decision-making process for this went down. We did have quorum. We did. So let's get a round of applause for everyone who's there. In terms of the decision-making process, if you looked at the budget, yes, we had to make some cuts. However, this is because we received $120,000 in requests and really had $112,000 in the budget. So yes, we had to make some cuts. Sorry about it. But the decision-making process was very objective. There's a framework that I created. The factors are like event details. They didn't provide sufficient details, or if there was like some question about like the ethicality of the event, we rejected it. If it was a priority for student government, we did not approve it. Like we had to reject like some orgs that requested t-shirts and crew necks. Like I'm sorry, we can't do both. A t-shirt is fine. If you got rejected and you want money for something so badly, please request through special projects. We have like a fair amount of money in that. I also do want to point out the first year leadership organization, usually they receive funding. This year they did not submit an application, so they will not be receiving funding. They can request through special projects if they want money. So if you want to see specific reasons for each budget cut, it can be found in the appendix of the bill. So.
Yeah, sure. Hey, by the way, as financial director, I am an ex-officio member, so I did not vote, but every other author on that bill voted on this. So if you have any questions about the vote, except for her, she's presiding. Just so you guys know, with the changes to the new governing document, there are some items that just cannot be amended. That with our stipend. So sorry, I made it. Besides that, stuff like operations that we debated on the past, including the platform points. It's not just a splash fund that we get expenses in the office, like our phone lines, there's printers, stuff like that must get paid. So that's what that's for, right? And then the tuition allotments for Leland Isabel, that's what's required.
All right. So we'll now enter Q&A. Is there any questions for the sponsors? Representative Turgeon.
UI. I just, I'm looking at it right now, could you just explain why it has $170 allocated for university-wide representatives? Is that like budget or may also be paid?
So that was a request sent in by Representative Braxton Cannon. He had an initiative for, what was it again? It was.
It's for some sustainability conference, and I want to hold a little meeting. Just so you know, representatives can request money for their little programming. We have to send spending workshops and all that in Slack, stuff like that.
Any other questions? Representative Holomack.
Hello, Representative Holomack Cola. I'm not really sure about this one. Longhorn EMS was allocated $3,700. Can you explain just more about the org and what they're spending the money on?
Yes, so Longhorn EMS is one of the agencies in the executive department. They have been for a while. They requested money for, by the way, all of these orgs, pretty much they request money for like, if they want food for an event or something, or putting on like the university-wide event, can also be like, it's an event in their org. In terms of Longhorn EMS, they requested a lot of money for food for every single one of their meetings. So that's why we slashed a lot of their funding, because it just wasn't a priority for us to get them pizza for every single meeting, as much as we all love pizza. We also had to slash their funding because they requested about $2,500 in total for a barge. And we were concerned about the ethicality of that because not everyone is guaranteed to be of age and you know what happens in a barge. So we did not agree that.
Representative Pollack.
Oh wait, can I just quickly respond to that real quick as well? Also, I sent in all the internal budget applications, so you can see what they requested in the general Slack channel on Sunday, August 28th. Remember, you're not voting on this today, so you have a whole week to access that as well.
Okay, cool. That answers my follow-up. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, the speakers are going to refer this to the Financial Affairs Committee. All right, ex officio reports. Is there anyone from Senate, GSA, agencies, anyone that wants to speak? Say hi. No? All right, moving forward. Executive board reports. What? Yes, yes. Under the code, these can only last 15 minutes. So, no, 15 minutes like divided between the 7 of them or 8. But there cannot be any like follow-up questions. So yeah. So first up, comms director. Oh, Isabel, Mike. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. Either one.
Hello.
Okay, I'll make this really quick. Hi, I'm Karen, I'm the comms director. Nice to meet all of you. That's kind of meant. So that's my quick intro. Just kind of updating you guys in general. I will keep these 2 QR codes on my slide every time I present. This is the content calendar. If you're wondering what I'm doing, check this doc. And if you would like a graphic from my team, this is the form that you fill out. Please fill it out 7 days in advance, and my team will happily support your graphic related needs. So basically, we're creating an exec summer recap document that we'll be publishing along with an Instagram live featuring this one right here on the 2nd of September. And then t-shirts have arrived. I believe information has already been disseminated about how to pick those up. They're really cute. I designed them. That's the design. Fun. And recruitment content will be continuing until apps are due for new members on the 9th of September. And again, reminder, graphic requests 7 days in advance. I'm not a magician, so I can't just proof make a graphic. And yeah, that's a good song of the week. So thank you all.
All right, next slide for the admin director.
Hi, my name is Zion. You don't know me, I'm a 4th-year sociology and bicycle civil major. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm a Pisces sun. I'm a rising Aquarius, and I'm a Gemini. Quick intro. Oh, that was my quick intro. Sorry. Urgent. The admin team is currently in need of a social activity director. So if you know any buddies that are good at planning or anything, please let me know. We're still trying to figure out how we want to go about that, whether it's with applications or anything, but we'll have that figured out. We just need someone to apply. Yeah. Additionally, the social event calendar will be available Thursday, September 1st. My EADs are putting their final touches on it tomorrow. It's gonna be along really, really great. Majority of it is completed, but you know, I still get them at extensions, you know, add these last minute things and make it look perfect. Planning is underway for our first SG social, so please, I'm not finished this one. Right. It's supposed to say, so please be happy. I don't know, y'all. It was supposed to say something like, you know, please be excited, or I just couldn't find the word. So yeah, over the summer, the agency co-directors were selected and began planning for the fall. Planning for voter registration event is underway as well. I currently. Okay, so I reached out to Senate, and due to the governing documents, they are not able to like fully put their name on it. However, they will be able to like come help us with it. So it's supposed to be like a UT Senate type neat event, but it's gonna be a UTSG and others, plus Senate, but not Senate as the name on the bill. You get what I'm saying? Because they can't officially put their name on the bill because of our governing documents. What else? This event is to increase event turnout, no, voter turnout, I'm sorry. And it's gonna be like the 2 days in October. The deadline to register to vote is October 11th, so we're trying to do it like that first full week of October. So, you know, sign ups for that will be coming out very soon, so please be on the lookout for that. There will also be an agency debrief at the end of the semester. This is something new that I'm incorporating. So all agencies will have to debrief at the end of the semester about what their agency has been doing. This is kind of a way to make agencies feel like, you know, if some agencies haven't been doing something the whole semester, it's kind of like a way of other agencies to make them feel bad. It's like she's been doing something the whole semester. But it's just a great way for people to be held accountable and to actually keep progress with what we're doing for our campus. I just want everyone to know what our agencies are doing for our campus, because we should all have access to what they're doing to make our campus better, and they're not getting information. But yeah, lastly, this is the ring ceremony. That was really great. And also I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so that's why that's.
Hey everyone, I'm not standing up, so suck it up. So I put some important dates up there. I thought today I'd be really nice and keep mine pretty brief, so I'll talk about something else. Take pictures. The one thing I'll mention is our appropriation is closed tomorrow at 11 p.m. If you're a part of student board, please, please apply, share with everyone, all that fun stuff. Besides that, I also put Senate Reps and Assembly's appropriations on there. We do stagger the dates so that we all share the same spreadsheets and no one double dips. Also made those financial records ask. I was so kind to share this unprompted. The bottom three are scholarships or appropriations given out by our endowment governing board. I will be announcing, we'll be sitting on that board next week. I'm sure Soraya will probably talk about her appointees today though. Besides that, I did want to make one really important announcement. I always do this when we meet people within student government and such, especially because we have new staff members today that are all freshmen. The entire executive board are mandated Title IX reporters. I'm sure you've heard this spiel during class. If you don't know what that means, please stop talking about it. But we're all here for you. But if you need like anonymous resources or would like to talk in hypotheticals, you can always do that. Besides that, my last thing will be, I'll be available all week to answer questions about the budget. I sent 1,000,001 things to Slack, which I doubt with the applications. And if you guys have any projects you guys would like to get done and need funding for, please talk to me as soon as possible, because it takes about like a month for me to process everything, attend the spending workshops, stuff like that. Also, my last comment will be, if you have any intentions on sitting on leadership within student government, may that be AV, be a vice chair, not just within this assembly, but in future assemblies, or even on the exec board, really sign up for a spending workshop. It will put you ahead of the game for stuff like that. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, next up is the Chief of Staff.
Okay. Everyone, welcome back. We haven't yet met yet. My name is Patrick Chacon, and I am the Chief of Staff. So just kind of diving into it really quickly, our summer recruitment for exec and legislative branches is currently still underway. For example, this Wednesday, we are having a party on the plaza. There I linked a QR code to an SG tabling sheet The reason I am extending an invitation for assembly members to attend is because I understand that the first year rep filings are still underway as well. I am a little lost on when that application or when that filing ends, but I mean, this event is happening tomorrow, so we encourage you all to maybe sign up for tabling and recruit freshmen and first years to file. Additionally, exec leadership team, which means all of exec and all of our executive staff members are required to sign up for 4 time slots, which is roughly about 2 hours of tabling. Additionally, this was mentioned earlier, but our new membership applications close September 9th. With that being said, we are having our 4th info session, this one being the first one we're having in person. From 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the Texas Union Building Lone Star Room. The reason I'm also bringing this up is because I, again, am extending an invitation for assembly members to attend as well. There's a QR code linked to the info sheet sign up. Highly encourage assembly members to be present if you can. Talk to not just first years and freshmen who are interested in student government, but people from all factions and all grade levels come to these events just to learn a little bit more about student government and where they can get involved. Having your presence there, I think, will have a really big impact too. I also want to note that I sent a message in Slack to targeted at representatives and members of assembly to come pick up their SG shirt. I guess just depending on when we will probably get out of here, stop by the exec office and I'm happy to give you out your shirt so I can mark it down. I also linked my contact information there as well. Super easy person to get a hold of, constantly on my phone, kind of addicted to it, which is bad. But whenever you need to reach out to me, always do so. And I kind of want to make the emphasis of the tweet I have. It's kind of funny if you look it up in the video, but I kind of want to do my favorite tweet of the week. So this is Governor Greg Abbott, and it says it there, weak ass defense. So I just thought that was funny and I just thought I'd share that with you all. But thank you.
All right, moving on to the Vice President.
Hi, everyone. So I decided to start off with just some highlights from the summer in review that's going to be released very soon. Something that we did over the summer with the UTSG Reproductive Justice Coalition, and we released a statement, got a good amount of signatures for that. We were also working with the Easy for Easy group on the vending machine, following up on that legislation. And we also met with the co-op to discuss continuing the student entrepreneurship program that helps to empower several student entrepreneurs on campus. I went to all the summer orientation sessions and the transfer student orientation sessions and helped to get the application and y'all positions out there as well. University Honor Code, helping to draft that, and also doing work with the Student Services Budget Committee, which is what funds SG. So if you have any initiatives, SG can actually request from this budget, and we allocate about $1 million. It can be with any existing department, things like parking and transportation, the NBC, the GSC, things like that. I'm hoping to have more of a health equity and food security focus. So if anything you have related to those and you want to talk more about it, please reach out to me. And I also met with the Food Insecurity Action Team chair. If you saw the Food Insecurity report that they released about how to make sure that state government can help amplify their work. Within my vice president office, we did outreach for the external appointments. And we're also doing work related to the platform. So we came up with a project tracker for the executive board, and we also made an SG directory so that people can reach out to us, and we're creating office hours as well. So lastly, the album of the summer and the year, Renaissance by Beyonce. Yeah, that was it. And also this is my amazing secretary. She helped make a lot of the stuff that you're going to be seeing in this classroom.
Yay! All right, now turning over to the president.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, my slides aren't as cutesy as everyone else. I just wanted to get straight to the point, and want to respect everyone's time. But yeah, worked on a lot over the summer, as everyone else mentioned. The UT Coalition for Reproductive Justice and Rights was a big one after the overturning of Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. And we hope to continue to work with that coalition. on finding ways to tangibly support students, and other community members at this time. If you're interested in joining that coalition, let me know and I can be connected in that Slack channel, which is part of like this also collaboration Slack. I've been working with the student parents organization. They are bringing kind of a piece of legislation in the next few weeks on a traditional student scenario leave, related to supporting student parents. So also if you're interested in getting connected with them, let me know, that'll be coming soon. Also, of course, tonight we have our student loan debt bill, which resolution which passed. I was working with Kevin, Kennedy, Brian, and all the other amazing reps and executive members on that. A couple other updates. So, as some of you may know, or some of you may not know, our advocacy director, Malika, she resigned over the summer. So the issue of transparency, I can post in the rest of the executive board an entire timeline, the details, kind of how that went down. She just resigned just due to personal reasons, but all that information is out there, and kind of how the selection process went for the next advocacy director, which we're super excited about. She'll be coming to Assembly next week, hopefully for y'all's confirmation. But Isabel Richards, if you'd like to meet his advocacy, she's here to answer questions as well. But yeah, if you have any questions about that timeline, comments, concerns, I worked with a lot of reps on it, or like got y'all's feedback on it. So just let me know, and we can add more stuff to that as well, or answer questions about it. Yeah, as kind of Patrick mentioned, help table this week if you're interested in having any spare time. It's a really good way to promote student government to students. Actually very excited. One of the big things that we ran on was community food distributions. Every month we just give out snacks and other food and drinks and stuff to the students on Speedway and other common locations on campus. So we'll be doing the first one of those next Friday. That's on the tabling spreadsheet as well. So if you're interested in helping with that, we'll just be giving out a lot of food right now. There's so much food in my office right now, which we'll be giving out every month. We'd love help with that. We really want it, again, not to be an exec branch, but to really be all of student government to maximize our impact for students. Other things, President Student Advisory Committee, which is Isabel and I, our two PSEC reps, which should also be meeting soon to confirm as well, and then representatives from both the Senate and Graduate Student Assembly. We should hopefully be having a meeting based on Dean Lilly and President Hartzell by mid-September. So any updates that come out of the President Student Advisory Committee, I will relay to y'all. We're also, that's something I really want to work on. I think all of us do, Kevin, a lot of reps, I've been talking to y'all, is to really continue to build the relationship between the Assembly Board and the Executive Board. We would like to have bi-weekly joint meetings with all of us. So I'm going to be sending out the link to meet with the Assembly Board and the Executive Board on that pretty soon. But those meetings will also be open, so it won't be gate kept. Any rep or executive member that ever wants to come to those can, and it'll just be an open discussion to make sure we're all working together for the year. We're excited about those. Executive agendas will continue to be and have been in the meeting agendas linked channel on Slack. So if you're ever interested in coming to an exec meeting or just seeing what's going on.
I'm sorry, but the time has expired. Sorry.
Yeah, also, I'm just gonna say this real quick. We have a GCal. It has a lot of exec stuff on it, but we also have assembly on there. So like if you're like, oh, I really want to have a GCal that has all SG stuff on it, you can scan that QR code. Anything, just come ask me questions, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your second week of school.
New governing documents. All right, we'll move forward with Assembly Board reports to our new Rules and Procedures Committee, because that's new.
Hey everyone, happy second week back. I hope you all had a very fun, restful, much deserving, chill summer. So I did host a legislative workshop for my committee. Shout out to Soreka. I was invited to Financial Affairs Committee to do a brief workshop. Most of the things I presented in the workshop are still relevant, but there are new changes, such as like proxy vote years on, and a few other things. But like Kevin mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the assembly, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be hosting a teach-in just to like go over the new parliamentary procedures, our new like Robert's Rules of Orders, and how our new governing documents will affect our assembly. So again, I recognize these changes are confusing. Before the changes, our governing documents are confusing. Parliamentary procedure can be confusing, but we're here to make that process just as smooth and efficient as possible. But to my committee, so I did meet with Dr. Gerard, who is the Deputy Dean of Students. And essentially, like many of you have seen, these documents are poorly written, not even just because of their new changes, but just the way they're worded. Like, you wouldn't think that lawyers were the ones behind this, considering how many grammar errors there were, syntax issues. So ideally, I would like, I'd like to like redline everything that was just like wrong with it. For example, there's a section in the Constitution that's repeated twice, so don't know why that's there. But anyways, we're gonna fix that and show lawyers how to do their job. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, everyone. Two quick shout outs to our study staff meeting for today at Giraffe Bailey for leading workshops over the summer. Okay, quick changes that were made for the new code. First being community engagement points have been abolished, so they're no longer following that system. But we still have FG points, and that's 3 hours in the fall, 2 hours in the spring. Sign up for Patrick's tabling session. That'll count for 1 point at least for the semester. Also, a lot of us have been asking for excused absences when it comes to attending other club and organization meetings at the same time as ours. So I will be excusing that once a month. So if you have another organization that would like to attend to, just please reach out and let me know if you're using your excused absence for the month. You have attendance policy and actually point Google form already uploaded on Google Drive. If you're going to be absent, be stopping about conflict and additional 24 hours in advance. And then just EOC, just keep up with our going to me. Thanks.
Next up is academic affairs.
Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good summer. I'm gonna keep it quick. So if you're in my committee, make sure you turn on Slack notifications. I put a Wednesday meeting. We're gonna start having weekly meetings again now that we're back in school. I'm looking forward to our next meeting. We really, luckily didn't, like our committee itself didn't get really hit by the governing document changes, so everything is still going all right. And I'm gonna pass it over to Joseph, my vice chair, because he has an announcement.
All right, hey, I'm Joseph, I'm the CNS staff at the Vice Chair of Academic Affairs, and I'm also the intern for Celia for Austin, and we're having a karaoke night this Thursday. She is a housing candidate, and she will be the first Latina mayor if she will be elected of any major US city. Also, you'll be able to meet Celia and talk to her, and there'll be food and tunes and everything. I'll be emceeing, so I'd love to see y'all there. Thank you so much.
Financial affairs.
Hey everyone, can you go ahead and click through?
Sorry.
Stop here, stop. Okay, stop. Stop, I said stop. Hey everyone, as for the budget, thank you for not asking me more questions, but if you do have more questions on the budget, ask me and Ryan this week. We will be voting on that next week at Assembly, so I don't want to hear anything then. You have a whole week, use it. Congratulations to Representative Benjamin Rogers and Zach Moore for being the dominant governing board appointees. As that beautiful image on the slide says, shut up and take my money. We have money for representatives to use. If you want to do something cool on campus, use the special projects fund. You can use it for an event, an initiative, click. Or anything to make UT a better place, and we know there's a lot of potential. If you're in student government, we see it. Contact Veronica first. If you have an idea, send her what your idea is. Just CC me and Ryan, and then she can tell you like if it's feasible or like if it's not or whatever. Why does it look like again? This following message is for Ben, Brian, Diego, Helen, Jackson, Melanie, Reese, Seth, and Zach. Check the Slack, please. If I say something, react to it. Slack has this really cool feature where you can react to stuff. You can put like a fun emoji, you can put like a seal, a piece of broccoli, a cherry. React to my messages, because if you had reacted and read my message, you'd know that we have a fun 3-hour meeting this Sunday morning that is required. So please come. It's very fun. That is all.
All right, FAC. Governmental affairs is next up.
Hello.
Sorry, under the new rules, questions cannot be asked. Governmental affairs.
Hello. So governmental affairs. So over the summer, obviously we worked on AR10. Our committee did pass that. One of the more exciting things, House Rick was talking about the budget. That A-frame you see right there, me and James worked on that over the summer. So those A-frames can be seen around campus now. They're advertising our early voting dates, regular dates, the deadline to register. That QR code takes you to check if you're registered, takes you to VDR signups, everything important like that. If you are a part of a VDR org, you're leaving one in the office for any VDR org to come around, use it when they need it, just put it back. So that's why the budget process works. You can see it right there. So please sign up for money. Overall, if you're interested in any governmental affairs related legislation, me and Jorlene, the vice chair, we're gonna be working on a lot of stuff coming up for the session in January in the state ledge, so please reach out to us about that.
Next up is student affairs.
Hey everyone, I'd first like to congratulate all the assembly members and staff who have recently been appointed, particularly our new parliamentarian, who's my successor. I know you guys will all do well. Some summer updates, I've met with relevant stakeholders regarding various initiatives within the committee for the summer, and currently just reflecting and briefing on next steps, so the committee should be on the lookout for that. For committee initiative updates, I'll be sending an updated one to me in the iMessage group chat soon, so also be on the lookout for that. The other thing to look out for is to expect, that was weird. I'll send out next steps, don't worry about it. If you'll also want to join the Connect Caucus, scan the QR code or just talk to me. Yeah, and quote of the week, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Thomas Jefferson.
Wait, which quote?
Thomas Jefferson.
No, oh, okay.
It's because she's a business lady.
No, I heard it in a.
All right. Yeah. Welcome back. So I have a couple of things to say. Actually, I have like quite a bit of lots. First off, just so y'all know, we had Senator Eckhart speak today. Next week, we'll have Congressman Dockett come by to speak with us regarding student loan debt and other federal issues. The week after that, we will have someone, a professor here relating to sustainability. So you'll have the opportunity to do that, to ask questions regarding that initiative. All right, first up, what's governing documents? So as y'all know, maybe, I don't know if you do, but we had a meeting with Dr. Gerard, Marcus Mays, our sponsoring entity regarding the new governing documents. And so I just want to briefly inform y'all of the new changes that I learned from them. We had asked them about separate but equal. Why was this in their new governing documents? They said exec is superior. We are no longer co-equal, and we want to keep the spirit of SG alive. As it relates to the executive appointments, the exec will get to confirm their appointments as we now know. And apparently, if the president removes everyone or removes anyone unjustly, the assembly can impeach them. Oh yeah, so if God forbid, if Leland were just to remove everyone or remove anyone unjustly, the assembly could remove them or impeach the president for material failure. God forbid, of course. There's this whole loophole with the parliamentarian and good cause with the people who we can appoint. Apparently, the parliamentarian now can override the votes of representatives, but there's another part of the Constitution that says that they only are like an advisor and that they only representatives can make votes. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. So I have a statement. The chair would like to really would like to let this following statement. As noted in the email I sent you earlier this month, the governing documents are now deemed to be in effect by them. Truth be told, like I said, I'm still disappointed with them that all of the changes that we made are not in there. We have worked tirelessly over April. We remember how stressful that was, April 26th, when we were all outside. We remember that. Yeah, none of that is in there. So we will continue to work with DOS to ensure that our fundamental changes are incorporated. But as it relates, these rules are unacceptable. Yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, we'll continue working with them, but who knows? Thank you. Next up, follow us on social media. I will continue to promote this. Who knows? The new rules may say it's not allowed.
Did you make that edit?
I'm not going to answer. So follow us on social media.
Is that delimited?
Yes.
Okay. You had the audacity to censor me earlier.
Oh, yeah. So y'all know our sponsoring entity, the LSO watchdog, as I call him, was here. He was back there. And so when y'all are getting a little partisan, I was like internally crying because I know I'm gonna get an email about this tomorrow. So there's that. We have hired assembly staff. I'm so thankful to have y'all now here working with us. They're gonna do a great job. I will, over this month, I will continue working on filling out our more minor colleges. So we finally have appointed someone for nursing. We're working on med school, geosciences and all the other places. Of course, I did representative check-ins. I called about 60% of y'all over the summer. I still am gonna try to get to the other 40% of y'all and just kind of see where y'all want to kind of go over this semester, over initiative. But once I have done that, I will of course send that all to you of what I found. And then finally, we have first year filing. We are continuing to do that. So if you have anyone, any freshmen that are thinking of running for first year rep or any incoming transfer students, encourage them to do so. Please, we would love to have good people. And I think, Mario, you have a question?
Yeah, just wondering if you know if like Dave is getting a replacement or anything that we have to need to go to market.
I think it's Marcus now. I'm 99% sure it's Marcus now. And finally, we have a vacant UI position. Tomorrow morning or tonight, I will put out a link that will have like a form. So if y'all have anyone that's interested in filling that vacancy, please have them fill out that form. We're going to continue to do outreach. It will be due by Friday, and then the assembly board will vote over the weekend who we're going to recommend to fill a role. Yeah, that's Lily. What? Yeah, okay, next slide. So next up is representative shout out. Please fill out if you want to shout someone out. This is the anonymous feedback form. If you have any like concerns over myself, of how I'm running the job of speaker, any committee chairs or anything like that, please. I see them all. I know someone asked for me to speak louder, so I'm hoping I did that now. So we don't have a representative to shout out, but I do want to shout out Representative Bailey. She has done an amazing job over the summer. Without her, our recruitment would have not been as good as it was. So I'm so thankful for you for the work that you did over the summer. I also want to shout out Representative, what are your names? We're getting there. Daxa. I want to shout Maria Daxa out for going to tabling over the summer in the hot, blistering heat. I want to thank Brian, Adrian. Am I forgetting anyone else who did any events over the summer? As well, exactly, for that. So yeah. All right, next slide, please. So these are mental health resources. If you need them, please utilize them. I'll give you a second. Next slide. Any announcements? Any announcements from anyone that anyone wants to make?
Yeah, real fast. I have been appointed to the parking and transportation committee. They're essentially the people that decide all the policy when it comes to like moving stuff during the games, all the garages, everything like that. So if you have any concerns about parking or any of the permit stuff, reach out to me.
Yay. Okay, yes, thank you. No, sorry. Well, before we go back, I also wanted to give birthdays. So we want to say happy birthday to Adrian. We also want to say happy birthday to Representative Getachew. We also want to commend any other birthdays that I just don't know about. Representative Bahara, and Diego. Oh, really? When? Really? You didn't say anything? Yeah, we knew. Okay, we'll make it. Okay.
Also, Brian's engagement. Brian's engagement.
Okay, we'll make a form. We'll make a form. But happy birthday to everyone who had a birthday. Huh?
Just thanks for my summer birthdays. Shout out to us.
Okay. We'll get a form going. Okay. Happy birthday to everyone. I'm so sorry if I missed you, but happy birthday. We also want to commend Ryan on his engagement. He got engaged.
Sorry, that's the joke. That wasn't him. I take it. That's all.
I'm not joking.
We have crew.
I'm rocking a jacket.
All right, next slide.
Because it says that the phone's not working, so I have to fix that.
Sure.
Hello? Okay, I'm gonna be calling roll.
Wait, we're not doing the QR code.
Yeah, so sorry, it's messed up. We'll get it sorted for the next meeting.
Representative Perry? Here. Representative Valentina? Here. Representative Randara?
Representative Cannon, Representative Singer,
Here.
Representative Klassen,
Here.
Representative Colazo,
Here.
Representative Tomatos.
Here.
Representative Baxter. Representative Daniel,
Here.
Representative Feinstein, Representative Fernandez.
Here.
Representative Thurman,
Here.
Representative Yanichu,
Here.
Representative Gonzalez, Representative Greenwald,
Here.
Representative Hall,
Here.
Representative Holloman, Representative Hancock, Representative Tyus,
Here.
Representative Fernandez, Representative Bushy,
Here.
Representative Coleman, Representative Udy,
Here.
Representative Middleburg, Representative McGill,
Here.
Representative Moore, Representative Neptune, Representative Good,
Here.
Representative Pena,
Here.
Representative Roberts,
Here.
Representative Rogers,
Here.
Representative Ryan, Representative Sanchez, Representative Dudley,
Here.
Representative Tristan,
Here.
Representative Tuijaman,
Here.
Representative Villanueva,
Here.
Representative Lace, sorry, Representative Whitington, sorry.
Here.
Representative Maceda. Yeah, I apologize if I pronounce anyone's name wrong.
All right, the chair. Oh.
By unanimous consent.
Second. Hold on, wait. Did you have something?
No, that was attendance.
We're adjourned. See y'all next week.
Maybe in the SG office if you want to pick up your shirt.